Hello, everyone. So this is going to be my wrap up of books I read in October. October being spooky season, you're going to notice a theme with these books. First, Cryptozoology A to Z. This was a fun book on monsters. Agony's Lodestone. It was actually a very serious read about grief and family tragedy. This is a horror novella set in a specific section of Canada. This was an intriguing read and some really good concepts here. Some stuff doesn't really get as developed as I would have liked it to have been, but nevertheless, pretty good. Mapping the Interior. This is one of the weirdest horror stories I read this October, and to be honest with you, I don't understand a lot of how it ended. Uh, you might not like this if you don't like a lot of psychological, oh, it could all be a dream type of books, and I don't. Nothing But Blackened Teeth. This is set in Japan, which is pretty cool because I lived in Japan for a couple of years. Other than that, there isn't much original here. Typical haunted house book. Halloween Fiend. This was a very odd book. C.V. Hunt, and it is the whole thing kind of like a mixture of The Lottery, by Jackson, mixed with the whole haunted town kind of concept. There's this fiend, and every year a human sacrifice is made to this entity that stops it from hurting people year round. Sorry for that picture. Autumn Crow High, Fresh Hell. This is continues where the book Autumn Crow left off. Autumn Crow is a collection of short stories based in a creepy fictional town. I think memories of where we spent a lot of time. I can't say grow up because, I don't have a home state or a hometown. Kind of an itinerant in my youth, as you will. But I think people form complex relationships with where they grow up, and there's the good side to it of community, but then there's the downside of it. A lot of times of the creepiness, the eeriness, people hunting and stalking children, stuff like that. So this is sort of a non-fiction mystical book about items that were held to be sacred or charmed by the Roman Empire. The Hidden Life of Wolves. I thought at first this might just be some kind of a cute picture book, but it actually is not. It's a full-on, really good book about wolves and how wolves are essentially almost extinct in North America as far as, say, being a naturally occurring species in the wild. They have to be bred and put into national parks. Monsters of the Midwest, just a fun book about, folklore. The Werewolf of Grosse Pointe and Other Stories. I might actually do just a video on this book. So, a long story short, this collection of folklore tales by which I forget, Marianne Kalko, who went by the name Gundella, and her daughter actually opened up an occult store right next to Garden City High School, which I attended briefly. Again, the whole thing with being moved around a lot, no hometown, no home state. And I did some investigation into this just a couple years ago. So it has been probably over 25 years since I set foot in Garden City High School, and I only went there for like a semester and a half. But a few years ago, I was researching this, and I wanted to see if there was a tie-in because in this book, there's an address mentioned in Garden City that you could send a P.O. box if you want Gundella to look into phenomenon. Probably, of course, long since been canceled or whatnot or reassigned. And I found out that the person who ran that occult shop was the daughter, and that the daughter of Gundella was murdered several years after Gundella passed away. She was killed by her husband on October 31st of like 1998 or 97. Very interesting. Behind the Legend, The Loch Ness Monster. This is one of 3 books I read that's just good old Halloween spooky season fun. Behind the Legend, Werewolves. Obviously a pivot to more serious stuff here. Loch Ness Monster kind of is a fascination, but has never hurt anybody. People did actually fear werewolves. This is the most serious because zombies, of course, we get that from Haiti, and Haiti is struggle. This is the final book I read, and I read it in one day, and I read it on October 31st, so the Halloween book. And this is Haunted Michigan Graveyards. As somebody who doesn't really believe in this stuff, at least these reads are very fun for me. And I might visit some of these places. You know, some people consider me a debunker. I don't really like that term because I think people think I walk in or I'm coming into these things, haunted spaces, with an agenda to disprove something when really I'm coming in to see some cool phenomenon. I just never see what's reported. Either way, that's my reading wrap up for October. Thank you all.